This episode is sponsored by the Spring Forward Writers Retreat. If you're someone who has a book as your luxury item and you've been sitting on it for a while, I've got just the answer for you. If you need somebody to hold your hand or help you do it as a work session in person, the Spring Forward Writers Retreat is happening March 14th to 16th of 2025. It's happening in beautiful Kissimmee, Florida. So if you're interested in that, if that's something you want to do, you want to knock out your book at the beginning of 2025, let's go. Because when you come, you're coming with your book as is. Whether that's with the outline, maybe just a few ideas that you put on paper, maybe you're coming starting from scratch. By the end of the weekend, you will leave with a rough draft. You will leave with a manuscript completed. So that is the tangible item you're coming away with, okay? So if you're interested, go to tinyurl.com/spring forward retreat. Good evening. Happy Wednesday, my winners and goal getters. Welcome back to the Getting the Win Show. I am your host, Mellissa T, the procrastination bully. Thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first episode, welcome. Welcome to the goal getters community. Welcome to the ecosystem. We are here to help you move the needle on that luxury item that you've been sitting on for far too long, if we're being honest, right? So that's the purpose and mission of this show. And in today's episode, I'm touching on the importance of getting other people to help you. But in this case, in this episode, I'm going to give you the 4 C's of leverage. Okay. I wanted to provide this to you as a way, as a how for you, because you might hear me in all the episodes talk about the importance of finding your who, and you're like, okay, what happens when I find them? You know what I mean? Like, you might, first the question is, okay, how do I find a who? But then the next question might be, okay, now that I have a who, what do I do? Because you might not be someone who's particularly, an air traffic control. You might not be detail oriented in that way. That might not be your strong suit. Or, you have the vision, but you're like, okay, how do I do this in a way that makes sense to move forward now that I have someone else on the journey with me? Or you might be somebody who may not trust your baby with anyone else. So I want to share the 4 C's of leverage. These are not mine. This is coming from Naval Ravikant. So shout out to him and his genius. Now, mind you, these principles are applied in the business sense, but these 4 C's can still work for you even in a creative sense. If your luxury item is something creative and you're collaborating with people, you're working with people, or want to bring people on. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first C. The first C is code. It's code. So in other words, that's automation. If there is a way that you can automate any part of your process, start doing that. That's that first step. Obviously, you know where I'm going to go when we're talking about automation. I'm going to go towards AI. Like, if that's something that you can leverage to save time or to simplify a part of your process, then by all means use it. It is a tool. Like, it's not anything to be feared at the moment because it's still in its infancy, but at least the public version of AI that we all know. But if there is a way to reduce the amount of time that it takes for you to do something, ask the AI machine, as I call it, whatever you need to ask it. And by the way, don't only settle with the first answer. Okay? That's one thing I've learned in my uses of it. Iterations make a difference. So whatever you input into the chat, whatever it is, if you're using ChatGPT, it'll spit you out the first set of answers or whatever. I promise you, those are usually the most general and vague. So ask again and make tweaks to your question, and then it will continue to tweak with each iteration and come down to more of what you're looking for. Okay, so just as a concrete example, since I am a content creator, I last year input into ChatGPT a list of show ideas, and it spit out a bunch of them. And so I was like, okay, I had to narrow it down a little bit. I had to iterate. I was like, okay, these are kind of vague. Give me something that's a little more, give me some answers that are more nuanced, specific to the topic of beating procrastination, and different iterations. And by the way, this is something that if you want to, feel free to still add the human layer to it if you want to refine it even further, because even with the great list of topic ideas that I got out of there last year, and I've been recording the show accordingly with those topics, I still did my own research. Like, I still found some more nuanced topics that ChatGPT didn't kick out as an answer to my prompt. But that's just one example of automation. Another example could be to use something like Notion. If you're someone that's trying to become more productive, there are a lot of people that sing the praises of Notion, which that's a whole, there are some people who use Notion to plan out their whole life, like not only to plan out their daily schedule or weekly schedule. You can use Notion to, if I'm not mistaken, you can also use it to collaborate with other team members and things like that. So there are some people who love that. It's a system that is a second brain. So it frees up their own to come up with other things. You have things like, I think HoneyBooks, I want to say, is the name of the company, or several other apps that help you with your finances if you're running a small business. So these are examples of automation. That's that first C, that's code. Okay. The second C is content. And again, Naval was listing this in the context of a business. So for him, content means your SOPs, your operating agreements, your operation procedures, things like that. Make sure you have what you're doing in writing so that it's repeatable. There's a there's a verse in my favorite book that says, "Write the vision and make it plain." You see Jessica's journal back here. Write the Vision Journal. That is the name of her journal too. Write the vision, make it plain. The other half of that verse is so that others may see it and run with it. So even in your luxury item, that thing that you've been sitting on and you're now picking up to move the needle and finish, it's very important to record your steps, record the process. No, you don't have to write it down because again, you trying to save time, right? So a way to record it is to voice record it if that's faster for you. If you prefer speaking over writing, that's fine. But making the process in content, like recording it, documenting it, so that you can either repeat it or give it to someone else and they can run with it and do the same thing that you did. Because replicating yourself and or your process is beneficial. That actually extends your legacy, extends your imprint and your impact on the world. So that's the importance of the second one, content. Log your process, record step by step. That way, either you can repeat it and do it again for someone else, with someone else in another location, or someone else can take it and replicate it and be successful with it. But either way, that's you expanding your impact on the world. So, quick reiteration, the first one is code. That's automation. However, whatever automated systems you can use to reclaim your time, by all means use them. Do not fear them. Find somebody that knows technology a little bit more than you do if that's something you're afraid of. If that's the reason why you've been sitting on your luxury item. If tech is the reason, don't let that be the reason. There are plenty of technologically savvy people that can help you. You can do what my folks do. I'm young enough, so any tech things, they're calling Mellissa. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like I make sure to help because it's important that we all reclaim our time, regardless of what we're involved with. And I'm blessed enough to be in a family of entrepreneurs. So business is always running. any day of the week. So if there are any tech issues, I'll make sure to address them because we're trying to get this luxury item to the finish line, right? So that's number one, that's code. Number two, content. Okay, log your process. Number three is capital. Now, normally when you hear that word, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Money, right? The beautiful thing about capital is that it's resources of any kind, not just money, because there are times when you may not have the money to be able to use to get what you need. And if that's what's stopping you, which that's very common, usually money is something that a lot of people use as a means to not move forward on their luxury item. So allow me to encourage you to think beyond just money. What other resources do you have available to you? Resources can be people, it can be information, it can be books that you have that you can research and learn from. It can be videos, it can be organizations that you're a member of and you can contact, interact with the other members of that organization to ask questions and find out more or barter, some kind of mutualistic arrangement where you provide value to the person and they help you with what you need that you want to pay for, but you kind of don't have the money to pay for right now. So there's that. There's organizations, there's books that are available to you. And even if they're not on a bookshelf like this, local libraries still work. You know what I mean? Some of us take them for granted, some of us kind of ignore them. Public libraries are still a powerful resource. So even if you don't have the book in your home that you may need, the public library might. There's, of course, the interwebs, like the limitless library, right? Google knows all things. It's crazy. Um, and of course, YouTube University, which is owned by Google. So anything you need is right within your fingertips. It's within your reach. And even if the tangible thing isn't at your fingertips, maybe a person is close enough to you that you can reach and get what you need. So, capital. Think of all of your resources, not just money. Think beyond money. Okay? And think at the highest level. Whatever that highest level version of your luxury item is, that highest level version of the help that you want, aim for that. Aim for that. Go for the highest quality of help so you can get the highest quality result with your luxury item. And then number four is collaboration. This feeds directly into what I was just talking about with the resources. It's people. Collaboration is with people. And if you watch one of my previous videos, if you're hesitating on your luxury item based on the people you're collaborating with, my solution for that was keenly observe, ask questions of the people that are connected to the people that you work with, and then make a decision. If after you observe what they do, say, how they operate, how they treat other people, and when you ask questions of the people that are connected to them, and perhaps your conclusion is it's not a good fit, you make your decision and either tell them deuces, I appreciate it, but not interested or won't move forward and let them go, or you be the one to toss deuces and get out of there. Okay. But don't let that be the reason why you're hesitating. Don't let that be the reason why you aren't moving forward on your luxury item. And in terms of what I was sharing with getting that who, maybe it's not the person you're talking to that's going to be your exact who. We are closer to our solutions than we think. So it may not be the first degree, it may be the second degree. It may be somebody that person knows, or somebody that person knows that next person knows that can connect you. That's why if you use LinkedIn, you always see that first, second, and third degree connections, because it's a tangible way for you to know just how close you are to getting what you need. You're closer than you think. So I'll share a story on this collaboration part. So I'm involved in a great community, and someone in there wanted to edit their book. So they booked me, I took care of them, and then by word of mouth, someone else reached out to me. And I had already done the research, if you will. Like, we're all in the same community, so I understood the pedigree and the quality of this next prospective client. And sure enough, we move forward. And at this point, that project is almost complete. So all of that is interconnected. The first person, the first clients came to me. We collaborated as a result of being in the same community, knowing each other's quality. They saw the quality of my work and was pleased, and then shared that with another person who they were first degree connections with. I was the second degree. The connection was made. We started working together, and that project is almost completed. And now this person is also happy with my work. So don't be afraid to connect with others. Even though your luxury item is your baby, you value it. It is super important to you. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But here's the thing to note: we are wired by God to be interdependent. Sure, you're deep and you're dope, as E.T. the hip hop preacher would say. You're deep and you're dope, but you can go so much farther when you have people that are aligned with you to help you get it done. And of course, to reclaim your time, which is the whole purpose of these 4 C's of leverage. That's what leverage is all about. It's about maximizing other resources to reclaim as much of your own time as possible. Now, if you're someone that is in business and maybe your luxury item is business related, it's not a creative thing, then this definitely applies to you. A quick recap. Number one, code. That's automation. So any apps, AI, whatever the case may be, any kind of technological things that you can use to reclaim your time, start using them. Start using them. Or find someone who is more technologically savvy that can help you get access to those things if technology is a challenge for you. Or you just can't be bothered. That's fine. But find someone that can help you get that done. So, number one, that's code. Number two, content. Document your process so that it can be repeated and reiterated and improved upon. Okay. That way, anybody that you give that to that can help you, you can pass it to them and they can do the task themselves without having to ask you 50 million questions and slow you down again, right? That's the importance of content, writing down standard operating procedures, documenting your entire process so somebody else can do that stuff that you don't want to do with the instructions already provided to them. The third one is capital. And remember, it's not just about money, it is resources in general. Okay. So reframe your stance on capital. We normally hear it in terms of money, but some things are even more important than money. And that's knowledge, expertise, and value. The value you can provide other people. So if it comes down to a mutualistic relationship where you're bartering, by all means do that to get what you need. If money isn't an option for you right now, or at least not yet, right? That's the key thing. Not yet. So don't let money be the reason you're sitting on your luxury item. Move forward on that by exploring all of your resources: people, books, the internet, videos, whatever the case may be, organizations that you're a part of. The options are endless out there. And then, of course, number 4 is collaboration, which specifically deals with people, specifically. And again, if that's the reason you're hesitating, observe, ask questions of the people connected to the people you have questions about, and then make a decision to either move forward with the project or to draw the line and say, you know what, I'm good. Those are the 4 C's of leverage. Okay. So hopefully you took notes on this one, and feel free to apply these in your life, because none of us really have enough time to do anything. Like, I'm coming to realize that myself. Yes, we tend to hear in the personal development space, like, it's not too late. And that is a positive thing to believe, because you are still alive. You still have breath in your body. I'm still alive. I still have breath in mine. But we don't have much time. We really don't, because we don't know when our time is up. So the only thing we can do is presume that we don't have much left. So it's our job to maximize the time that we have before us while keeping the future in mind. So build towards the future, but move as if your life depends on it, because it literally does. It literally does. Okay. If this video was helpful, by all means, share it with your peeps. Hit like on the video. Thank you so much for doing that. And of course, DM me on Instagram at Getting the Win Show. Follow me first before you DM. But yeah, follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Threads at Getting the Win Show. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions. Leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'll be happy to have the conversation with you. Let me know which of these 4 C's stood out to you the most and that you're most eager to implement, like ASAP, okay, as you work towards a luxury item. But in the meantime and between time, have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week.